So the last part of chapter 5 deals with what we refer to as, so these are just symbols showing up. We call it pushing bubbles, right? You go between the negative and the positive symbols. But the last thing in this chapter that we'll talk about, we're not going to look at Karnaugh maps or a CPLD, I think, programming language. So what we'll find out is NANDs and NORs, we can use these to implement all 5 basic gates. One or more NAND gate can be combined to form all the other gates. One or more NOR gate can be combined to form all the other gates. So these are just some drawings, but we'll come over here and look at this. So let's say, so I know a NAND gate, quad 2 input NAND gate has 4 gates in there that I can use anywhere, right? You understand? Just because they're in the same package don't mean you have to use them together. The only thing they have in common is that they share the same power supply and they're inside the same package. You can use them anywhere in your diagram, right? You understand that? So we already looked at one way we could come up here. Let's just look at NAND gates first. So NAND gate, if I need a NAND gate, I'll do this, right? And that's a 2 input NAND gate. Are we okay? Then, of course, if I need an inverter, I could take a NAND gate and do what? I can connect the 2 inputs together. Or, the book doesn't teach this, I could come up here and always connect one of the inputs to plus 5 volts, and then that would be an inverter also. Because this would actually be my input over here. So this acts like an inverter, both of these. And we'll talk about the advantage of this one over that one and vice versa. Are we okay? So let's say I got NAND gates and I need an AND gate. What would I do? I got 4 NAND gates to work with, and I need an AND gate. I'm not going to go out and grab another IC if I've got some spare gates inside that what? Inside a IC or several ICs, right? You understand that? So I mean, I could use a NAND gate and U 204, and if I've got an extra NAND gate and U 516, and I've got one in there, I can just wire them together. So we don't even have to these don't even have to be in the same IC, right? You understand? So when we come up in design, usually we have these spare gates all over the place. And instead of me slapping another IC in there, I would rather be able to use what's already there. So I combine NAND gates to make an AND gate. What I do? Takes 2. But what would I do with the second one? I would just wire it to act like an inverter. So now, this is an inverter, right? That's an inverter. So what I'm doing is I'm saying this, right? You understand. And I'm going bubble, and I'm doing that. So that means if the input, if this takes all highs to get a low, I'm going to invert it, and it's going to go high. So what I've done is I've made an AND gate out of 2 NAND gates. So I can make an AND gate out of a what? Okay. What's that? This is an AND gate. What we're doing is we're getting AND logic. So I'm sure I'll redo that as what it's acting like. So this functions as a what? This circuit functions as an AND. Can I get a NOR? So what we're trying to do, so this guy gives me this guy right here. What we're trying to do now is we're trying to get a NOR. Can we get a NOR out of NAND gates? Let's go an OR first. OR is easier. Let's do an OR first. Can I make a logic function OR out of nothing but NAND gates?
Make an OR out of NAND?
Yeah. No, can we make, what we're trying to do is this is called the universal gate. And what they mean is I can get all the 5 basic gates out of nothing but NAND gates. All 5 of them. We've already got the inverter. Of course, the NAND is itself, right? So there's the NAND. Here gives me the AND, and I'm trying to come up with a method I could make an OR out of nothing but NAND gates. Huh? No, I'm trying to get an OR. I changed it over because the OR is easier. So I'm trying to make an OR. I'm not trying to make a NOR. I'm trying to make an OR logic function out of nothing but NAND gates. No, what we're doing is we're combining 2 gates to get an AND function. You're right, that's a NAND gate, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get an AND function. Not for an OR. I'm trying to make this out of nothing but NAND gates. I'm trying to get this logic function out of nothing but NAND gates. Huh? Anybody can figure out how to do it? This is going to take 3. Can't do it with 2. Got to take 3. So we've got inverters right here. So if I redraw the symbol, so these would be inverters. So I'm going to put a bubble right there. That would be in a bubble right there. This has got a bubble on the output. That's a negative AND, which is exactly the same thing as a what? An OR. So that right there gives me an OR function. So this circuit right here performs this logic. OR logic. Yeah, if I connect the 2 inputs of a NAND, or all the inputs, we can make an inverter out of a 4 input AND gate. I mean, I got a 3 input AND gate. I just come up here and I just connect all of them together, and that would be an inverter. So all your NAND gates we can make inverters out of, if we need them. But you're trying to say, well, why would I do this? Why would I turn NAND gates into an OR gate? Into an OR logic? We're not turning it into an OR gate. We're turning it into an OR logic, right? You understand that? Because an OR gate is an OR gate. All we're trying to do is make NAND gates perform an OR logic. Now, why would I do that? Because we have spare NAND gates, right? You understand? Somewhere on my circuit, I have spare NAND gates. Instead of me adding another IC to get an OR, I can get an OR out of NAND. So I've got NAND, I've got inverter, I've got AND, I've got OR. Now all I got to do is figure out how to make a NOR out of NAND gates. So I know this right here Oops. Take those together, Rich. I know this right here gives me a what? An OR. So what do I need to get a NOR? So that right there would give me a NOR. Huh? Takes 4 gates. Now you say, well, that would use all of them inside a quad. Now, why would I do that if it's going to take a whole IC to get this? But you're thinking limited. I'm thinking about a whole circuit, right? You understand? And I've got hundreds of ICs up there, and I've got these NAND gates floating around all over, and I just have to wire them together. And all it would do, so I would run a trace up to that guy, right? So this gives us NOR logic, which is this symbol. This is the, right, got exclusive orders in my mind, guys. So that gives us NOR. So we can get a what? We can get a NAND, which is the gate by itself. I can get an inverter. We'll use this a lot. You see this used all over the place. I can get an AND, I can get an OR, and I can get a NOR out of nothing but NAND gates. And this is why it's called a universal gate. Because wiring one or more gates together, we can come up and get all 5 of the basic logic functions. Are we okay? So NORs. So, huh? And you see let me circle the actual circuit so we don't get them confused. So this gives me a watt. Oh, I need to do it. Crap. Let's see what I just did. Don't look like it's changing colors. I need to recalibrate my screen. So these are inverters. This is a watt. That's an AND. This is an OR. And this is a NOR. Okay? Let's see if we can figure out how to get all these logic functions out of instead of drawing the symbol. Let's see, I need to be, of course, I know I can get a NOR. Then we need to come up with a circuit that I can get a NOT from. And then I need to come up with a circuit I can get a OR from. I need to come up with a circuit I can get an AND from. And I need to come up with a circuit I can get a NAND from. So okay on the NOR, right? So a NOR is an OR. So that's that function right there. So how would I get a NOT? Is that by the input? So I'd come over here and I would combine the inputs or connect the inputs together. So that gives us not. How could I get an or? Just invert the output, right? That would give us a what? That would give us an or. I'm going to reverse these because it's so how would I get an and? I mean, sorry, an and. Would give me a NAND, right? Because that would, if these are inverters, that means I'm going to replace the symbol of the inverter with a symbol that represents it. And that would be the logic, which is an and. Oh, it's an and. I did have it right. Well, how would I get a NAND? 4 gauge, yeah. So this would give us this, right? Bubble, bubble, then we invert it and get rid of the bubble. Like this, NAND. So the NANDs and NORs are universal gates, and they're called universal gates. Why? We can make all the 5 basic gates out of just combining these things. So even in lab, I would like you to do that. Be able to instead of adding another IC, if you need an inverter, if you got a NAND or a NOR, you could do what? Just make one real easy, right? What's that? Together. Yeah, because if you look at this and you say, well, it takes all highs to get a low. Well, I'm sorry, wrong gate. If we come over here and says this takes any high equal to low. Well, if I put a 1 right there, is that any high? Yes. So the output would go what? Would go low. If I come over here and put a 0 right there, is that any high? No. So the output would go high. We could figure these out a lot. These I just redraw the symbol, but instead of drawing this, I draw it over here as a bubble, right? Understand? Because that's what it is. And then I have a bubble right there. Now this is going to give me a negative logic symbol, but we know a negative OR goes over to a what? An AND. So questions, guys? Huh? And we'll talk about why. What advantage to make an inverter? What advantage of this? So that's an inverter too, and you'll see this done a lot, especially if you have 5 volts nearby. And we'll talk about what advantages would it be to pull the inputs high instead of pull them high instead of hooking them together. So we okay? I'm gonna go ahead and pause this. I can leave it up as long as you want to.